You want your story to feel romantic and rich with tension, but instead it feels formulaic. You followed the trope, hit the beats, but somehow there's still no spark. Hi, I'm Helen, a writing coach and award-winning produced screenwriter with an MFA in creative writing. On this channel, I teach you the craft of romance storytelling. In this video, we're breaking down exactly why your favorite trope just isn't landing the way you want it to, and how to fix it with emotional stakes, character truth, and storytelling choices that actually feel like love. Because the problem isn't the trope, it's how you're using it. So, let's make it work. Here's the thing about tropes. They're not lazy, they're familiar, they're comforting. They tell your reader, you're safe here, you know this rhythm, now let me surprise you with how I make it personal. Sure, tropes are storytelling shorthand, but when they work, they carry real emotional weight. In my last video, I talked about the grumpy sunshine trope. It's not just about opposites attracting. It's a dance between someone who's armored up and someone who reminds them how to feel. That kind of contrast creates emotional friction, and friction creates heat. Or think about second chance romance. On the surface, it's about getting back together, but underneath, it's about unfinished business, about what ifs and what could have been. It leans into the wondering about the one who got away. Tropes work because they tap into the universal feelings: longing, regret, desire, hope. They also help readers recognize the kind of journey they're signing up for. Let's say I pick up a fake dating story. I already know I'm gonna get awkward sparks, tension-filled lies, and if the writer nails it, a moment where pretending turns into something real. That's the emotional payoff. That's what we're here for. And when tropes feel fresh, it's not because they're brand new. It's because the writer used them to reveal something true about their characters and ourselves. But when a trope doesn't work, when the tension falls flat or the moment doesn't land, it's usually not the trope's fault. It's something else that's just not working. So, we've got tropes, and they can be beautiful, comforting, powerful, but only if they're used with intention. Because here's where things go wrong. Writers use the structure of the trope, but forget to fill it with feelings. And without that emotional depth, even the juiciest trope starts to feel kind of dry. First pitfall, surface level writing. The trope's happening, you've got the banter, the fake kisses, the breakup in Act 3, but it all feels hollow. There's no why. No emotional stakes driving those moments. So, instead of leaning in, the reader just completely checks out. For example, if your grumpy sunshine couple is just snapping at each other, scene after scene, but we don't know what they're protecting themselves from emotionally, that's not tension. That's just annoying. Second pitfall, flat characters. The grumpy love interest isn't layered or hurt. He's just rude. The sunshine one isn't hopeful. She's just written like a golden retriever with no inner life. Tropes need real people inside of them. You have to ask, what does the character believe about love? What are they afraid of losing if they open up? That's where the story starts to breathe. Third pitfall, lack of specificity. Everything feels generic. The couple could be anyone. The town could be anywhere. You could swap out your main character for stick figures and the scene would still play the same. That's a sign your story's missing cultural flavor, setting details, and character quirks that make it uniquely yours. Think about Sweet Home Alabama. It's a classic second chance and returning home story. But what makes it work is the very specific setting, culture, and emotional baggage tied to Melanie's hometown and her ex. You feel the pull of memory, resentment, and belonging. It's not just going home. It's her struggle around going back to who she was before she left. Fourth pitfall, predictability without purpose. This one stings, but it's true. You build to a big kiss or a declaration of love. But we already saw it coming. And worse, we didn't care. It's because the moment didn't feel earned. There was no friction, no surprise, no emotional shift that made it land like a punch to the gut. The truth is, tropes don't kill stories. Shallow execution does. Ask yourself, am I using this trope as a shortcut or as a way to reveal something true about my characters? Because when you write from the surface, your story will feel like it's missing its heartbeat. But here's the good news. If you know what's not working, you can absolutely fix it. Okay, so your trope isn't landing. Now what? Well, let's fix it. Look, when a trope falls flat, it's not a sign to throw it out. It's a sign to dig deep, to rebuild the foundation so that the romance feels alive, emotionally charged, and specific to your characters. Here's my 4-step framework to make any trope work, no matter how familiar it seems. Number 1, character first, trope second. Don't start with the trope. Start with your character's emotional truth. Ask yourself, why would this character end up in this trope situation? What fear, wound, or belief about love is driving their behavior? For example, let's say you're writing fake dating. Don't just put them in that situation because it's cute. What if your heroine agrees to it because she's always had to pretend to be the perfect daughter? Faking a relationship isn't just a plot point anymore. It's her comfort zone. Pretending is what she knows. Now the trope is no longer surface level. It's rooted in who she is. Number 2, personalize the setup. Make your version of the trope feel like yours. This is where flavor, specificity, setting, and voice come in. For example, a forced proximity trope hits differently if your couple is stuck together during a rainy wedding weekend in Lagos versus a blizzard in Vermont. The trope becomes more than the setup. It becomes a world we believe in. Ask, what's unique about the people, place, or dynamic that makes this specific trope unforgettable? Number 3, raise the internal stakes. Most writers focus on external stakes, but what makes a trope sing is emotional risk. Ask, what does this character stand to lose if they fall in love? What would loving this person force them to confront? In normal people, the on-again, off-again romance trope works because each reunion costs them something emotionally. They're never just falling back into bed. They're confronting who they've become and whether that person still fits. If your characters aren't at least a little bit scared, we're not going to be hooked. Number 4, subvert the expected beat. You don't need to reinvent the trope, but you can surprise us with how it plays out. What if the sunshine character in your Grumpy Sunshine story is actually the first to shut down emotionally? What if the first kiss goes terribly awry? Or what if the meet cute is more like, I hate meat? These moments catch us off guard in the best way. They keep the story from coasting on autopilot, and that's a good thing. So, the next time you're stuck thinking, this feels too obvious, don't panic. That just means the story needs you to go deeper. Ask better questions. Raise the emotional stakes. Make the moment matter. Because you're not just writing a romance with a trope. You're writing this character's version of love, and no one else can tell it like you can. Now, let's dig into a checklist that can help you spot a weak trope in your draft. Alright, let's say you're deep into your draft and something's feeling off. You can't quite name it, but the scenes aren't landing. The tension is thin, the kiss is forgettable, and the banter sounds like it came from a second-rate CW show. Before you start to spiral, just pause, take a breath, and run your scene or your whole story through this quick 6-question gut check. Here's my go-to trope diagnostic tool. Ask yourself, what's the trope I'm using? Be specific. It's not just opposites attract. Is it grumpy sunshine, academic versus artist, city versus country? Clarity helps you track emotional contrasts. 2. Why this trope emotionally for this character? What makes this person a natural fit for this pattern of love? What are they afraid of? What are they yearning for? This is where the soul of your story lives. 3. What emotional stakes are tied to it? What does your character risk by playing along with this trope? Their reputation, their identity, their sense of control? If the stakes are only external, deepen it. 4. Is my version culturally or situationally unique? Could this scene happen anywhere, to anyone? Or does it feel like it only works because of who these characters are and the world they live in? 5. What expectation am I fulfilling or breaking? Are you giving the reader what they came for? Or better yet, are you giving them what they didn't even know they wanted? 6. How does this trope push my character to grow? Every romantic moment should leave your character a little more raw, a little more brave, a little more changed. If the trope doesn't shift something, it's not pulling its weight. This list isn't about perfection. It's about awareness. If you can answer these questions with truth and heart, you're not just using a trope. You're building a story that will stay with your readers. So, here's what I want you to remember. Tropes aren't the problem. They're powerful tools if you use them with heart, purpose, and emotional clarity. The moment a trope feels lazy or cliche is usually the moment it's lost connection to character. But the good news, you can always bring it back to life. You got the tools, now ask the deeper questions. Go beyond the outline, because you are the magic, not the trope. If you love this and you're wondering which trope is actually the best fit for you, I got you. Watch my next video where I break down 10 of the most popular romance tropes. These are the ones readers and viewers can't get enough of, and we'll go through how to write them in ways that feel fresh. If you need help structuring your story, developing compelling characters, or getting unstuck, I offer one-on-one coaching for romance writers. Details are in the description below. Until next time, love, Helen.